FPV UAV Zapad operator strikes 5 Ukrainian soldiers and a pickup truck in the Bohuslavka region. A Russian armed forces drone capable of dropping munitions struck a Ukrainian soldier with a bomb as he was leaving a shelter.
Don't forget to leave your opinion about the video in the comments, subscribe, and like.
The result of the Russian 9K-35 Strela-10 anti-aircraft missile system reaching a location in the Special Military Operation Zone.
Пацаны, блядь. Ёб! Рядом, да! Добег! Добег! Вот це! Еще одна де... Фу! Всі ж...
Video of the relentless collapse of the Ukrainian armed forces positions in Shevchenko. All drone attack footage is clearly visible in a clip lasting a few minutes. During reconnaissance operations, the Yugra Rifle Regiment's UAV unit discovered that a soldier from the Ukrainian Armed Forces 72nd Mechanized Brigade had decided to escape near a shelter. As a result, the Ukrainian shelter was destroyed along with the soldiers inside. Don't forget to join our Telegram group. The footage shows OK striking a Ukrainian Armed Forces air defense system with Garan kamikaze UAVs in the Novoeconomican region. The Russian Armed Forces artillery struck a location where Ukrainian Armed Forces soldiers had gathered in the Sumy region, according to a statement from the Ministry of Defense. According to a statement from the Russian Ministry of Defense, the Russian Air Force struck the Ukrainian armed forces in the Dnipropetrovsk region with FAB 1,500 bombs. The Russian Defense Ministry released a video showing footage of Russian soldiers attacking during the capture of the village of Yalta in Donetsk.
От Воронежа с любовью!
Выстрел!
Сегодня был освобожден населенный пункт Ялта
воинами-дальневосточниками. Забайкальский край.
How the residents of Bogatyr were evacuated. Soldiers from the motorized rifle regiment of the Vostok military group evacuated civilians from the village of Bogatyr in the southern Donetsk region. They managed to evacuate 13 people, including 2 children. The enemy attempted to hinder the actions of the motorized infantry by firing artillery and unmanned aerial vehicles. The soldiers responded to the unmanned aerial vehicles with rifles and carbines. The evacuation was also complicated because the Ukrainian armed forces had destroyed the bridges in the village, forcing them to walk several kilometers, but according to the residents, they had no choice but to leave. How was the evacuation of Bogatyr residents carried out? Soldiers from the motorized infantry regiment of the Vostok military group evacuated civilians from the village of Bogatyr in the southern part of the Donetsk region. They managed to evacuate 13 people, including 2 children. The enemy attempted to hinder the motorized infantry's actions with artillery fire and unmanned aerial vehicles. The soldiers responded to the unmanned aerial vehicles with rifles and carbines. The evacuation was also complicated by the Ukrainian armed forces destroying the bridges in the village, forcing those evacuated to walk several kilometers. But according to the residents, there were no other options. During a combat mission carried out by the Tigers UAV detachment of the 83rd Airborne Brigade, a robotic ground vehicle loaded with ammunition belonging to Ukrainian forces was detected and destroyed. Ukraine lost ammunition at its positions. Fighters from the 16th Special Forces Brigade destroyed a Ukrainian UAV launch pad in the direction of Krasnolimansk. Fighters belonging to the 16th Special Forces Brigade, in cooperation with artillery units, destroyed the Ukrainian flagpole using steerable antennas and solar panels.
Орудие! Выстрел!
The image shows the Russian armed forces striking a camouflaged 152mm Msta-B howitzer belonging to the Ukrainian armed forces with an attack aircraft. It continues combat operations by destroying another robotic platform with the R-18 hexacopter. Reconnaissance units belonging to the South Group detected a group of Ukrainian armed forces infantrymen trying to hide in basements, and artillerymen opened fire on that area. The Russians continue to systematically destroy the enemy on all fronts. Footage of combat operations carried out by the 3rd Combined Arms Army of the Southern Forces Group near a Ukrainian village to destroy the command center and launch site of Ukrainian forces' UAVs. Another UAV control center of the Ukrainian armed forces was discovered in the direction of Konstantinovsky. After several drone attacks, the UAV control center was destroyed. Write your thoughts about drones in the comments. The 103rd Regiment is advancing towards Konstantinovka, striking Ukrainian armed forces infantry in the ruins. The fighters of the 103rd Regiment are continuing their attacks toward Konstantinovka, destroying Ukrainian armed forces infantry, firing positions, and fortifications. During the attack, Ukrainian forces are being targeted by precise strikes from FP-5 unmanned aerial vehicles. Dnipro UAV operators destroyed 2 Ukrainian armed forces boats in the Kherson region. Soldiers of the 200th Guards Motorized Rifle Brigade of the Southern Forces Group destroyed a mortar and a UAV control center. The footage first shows the destruction of the UAV control center. Then the mortar position of the armed forces of Ukraine is hit. Everything was captured moment by moment on objective cameras. American MRAP International Max Pro fiber optic drones were destroyed in a coordinated operation on the border of the Dnipropetrovsk region. We are accustomed to seeing this situation in other videos. The Ukrainian armed forces are abandoning their armored vehicles and tanks with the doors always left open. Why do you think they are doing this? FPV calculations of the West Group destroy Ukrainian armed forces equipment in the Kharkiv region. The footage shows precision drone strikes destroying a T-72 tank, a Ukrainian armed forces transport vehicle, and communications equipment. Don't forget to join our Telegram group. Ukrainian forces drone operators infiltrated the village of Rublinoy, Kharkiv region, at night. The operators set up a command center in one of the old residential buildings, planning to launch drones targeting the Belgorod region. Russian intelligence uncovered the operation in time, and FPV operators destroyed Ukraine's facility and eliminated the equipment. An M113 was found hitting a mine in the direction of Kupiansk. A FPV drone arrived to finish off the American-made armored vehicle and delivered the final blow, scrapping the armored vehicle. Operators of attack drones belonging to the Novorossiysk Marine Corps destroyed an ammunition depot and an infantry unit belonging to the Ukrainian armed forces in the Zaporizhzhia region. The Russian army is burning Ukrainian armored vehicles in clashes near Chasiv Yar. Russian soldiers are destroying Ukrainian military equipment with precision strikes carried out by KVN unmanned aerial vehicles using fiber optic cables. UAV wars. It's not just drones shooting each other down, but also drones shooting down other robotic UAVs. Russian drone operators have long been destroying both attack robotic platforms and robotic platforms, carrying things like supplies in high conflict areas. We've started to see ground robots in videos quite often. Modern warfare seems to be turning into robot warfare. What do you think? A UAV control point of the Ukrainian armed forces was detected near Toretsk. An attack FPV drone then mobilized and blew up the position. UAV battle. UAV operators from the South Group destroyed a ground-based UAV belonging to the Ukrainian armed forces in the Chasiv Yar village area. A minivan truck in the Podoli settlement was destroyed by a fiber optic drone.